Greetings to everyone on Monday evening at 5:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time and 18th of January 2021. It's such a pleasure. We have got today the CEO of Beauty and Wellness Sector Skill Council under the aegis of Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Government of India, Madam Monica Bahel. She's the CEO and she's doing a wonderful job. And in fact, wellness is the most essential part at this point of time. When the world is opening up, things are shaping up and things are becoming better. Wellness is the main concern of everyone world over. So thereby, ladies and gentlemen, let's join. And today is the 593rd webinar, and we extend a very warm welcome to all of you. Our chamber extends a warmth and International Chamber for Service Industry, all our brothers and sisters, Vasudev, Kutumbakam, all of us together. Let's move on in this journey. Honorable Prime Minister of India gave the new education policy, and Dr. Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank ji, his daughter was with us last evening. She's doing a great job on Sparsh Ganga, and also besides that, there are a couple of tasks she is doing. So it was such a nice to hear her on water management and the linking of the rivers of India. So now the new education policy, when we talk about, ladies and gentlemen, school education, higher education, and the best part is skill has become a very important part of the entire education ecosystem, the vocationals. And there comes our Wellness Sector Skill Council. Now, in education, when we are talking about, there are various programs, skill programs, which are being offered by the Wellness Sector Skill Council. She would tell us what exactly is the scenario, how the things are, and your body, mind, your heart, your vision, your life, and all the wellness what you have got. There are 37 sector skill councils at present. Our chamber in 2021, we are focusing on making education relevant, empowering service industry. Teacher and youth empowerment is very important. And we are having a beaming whole day, right from the morning 9 a.m. And efforts are, how can we help each other in this universe? And when we are positive, so almost about 30 programs we have reached now. And research which we have gathered from the world over, your basic food, your basic health and wellness, along with your basic education, and the world getting back to basics and sustainable development. Immediately after this, we have got another program lined up, and that is coming Shri Ram, Lord Purushottam Ramji. When you talk about what is the relevance of his lifetime journey in today's education, and particularly what management theories and everything. So when you talk about ethics, moral, integrity, there are a couple of things which we'll be discussing. So new series is starting today, that is at 7 p.m., where Professor Prabhu Narayan Mishra ji, he would be the source and the resource person. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get together, all of us together. Let's synergize our energies and let's build a beautiful ecosystem for the entire universe. And we very strongly believe that the human mind, whatever we can conceive and believe, we can achieve. This evening, while extending a very warm welcome to Madam Monica Bahel, the CEO of Beauty and Wellness Sector Skill Council, New Delhi, let me say a few words that she is a thorough professional with more than 24 plus years of experience in the field of health, beauty, wellness, dermatology, and education. Out of these 24 years of experience, most of it has been in the leadership roles involving strategic planning and execution, organization building, infrastructure and team management, progressive 13 years of multi-functional experience in business development, operation, and sales. At present, being a CEO of the Beauty and Wellness Sector Skill Council under the aegis of the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. She is doing a tremendous work. The other day also she was with us. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this series we are taking up to 15th of August because all schools, all colleges, all institutions, polytechnic, universities, and even at the working places, people would need mental wellness, physical wellness, spiritual wellness, environmental wellness. There are a couple of wellness which is required. And before taking the present prestigious assignment, she was working with the VLCC as a senior vice president for the Southeast Asia. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me in extending a very warm welcome this evening to Madam Monica Bahl, ma'am. She is joining us this evening. It's a pleasure to have her. And once the CEO of a council comes, it means there is a lot to learn from her this evening and a lot to pick up from her this evening. Hearty welcome, ma'am. Pleasure to have you with us. Your mic is mute, ma'am. Your mic is mute, ma'am. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir, for having me here, and thank you to ICSI and you. It's always a pleasure to come and be face to face, even if it's virtually. In person, yes, our meeting is due now for quite some time. It's been almost a year, thanks to COVID. But even virtually, it's always a pleasure to interact with you, learn from you. We all look forward, not only our viewers and our industry members, but we all enjoy our conversations and little that evening chai pe charcha conversations that you started with Wellness Council. We enjoy that and we learn a lot from it. And as you rightly said, our ministry, MSD, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, we've got 37 sector skill councils. And the main aim of setting up this sector skill council is to make education relevant. What is at the background behind you in the what I can see is making education relevant is absolutely the theme, and making vocational education relevant so that the emphasis goes from being a job seeker and come to job giver. So that emphasis need to shift, like in the gig economy, in the current scenario where we are in the process of reaping the demographic dividend for our country. The most important role anything that will play is right kind of education and at the right time. Keeping that topic in mind, and the topic that we've selected today is making educational, vocational education and wellness relevant to millennials. Millennials generally is marked by excellent and more usage of internet, आपके mobile devices, social media, to the extent that a term has been coined for millennials as digital natives, since they spend most of their waking hours on their devices. Practically, they are on their devices for 24/7. So if you've seen in a couple of years before, say about 2015 onwards, there's been a lot of trend which is catching up. That is detoxification from social media and detoxification from your devices. So for millennials who were born with, I would say, a mobile in their hand and internet at the lap of in the lap of their mothers, so for them, seeing and being in a world without digital devices is not very relevant to them. Keeping that in mind, and the millennials whom we are addressing and for whom the topic we've selected, the wellness, they are one generation which has seen two big changes in the entire economic scenario. One was the Great Recession, with which all the countries were hit, and especially the developed nations were hit more. India, we were still safeguarded by our little rigorous forms of economy and RBI being very, very strong, and the financial policies being very strong. So we were not hit economically that bad. But COVID-19 recession has hit almost everyone, and even in India. So millennials are the ones who are suffering the impact more because they are in their most productive years during this time, during the time of Grand Recession as well as the COVID-19. For them to balance, making sure that the financial stability is not overpowering their emotional stability. It's very important that we talk about wellness for them. And for them, I would say pursuing a sense of belongingness becomes a means of achieving a sense of being needed. आज की डेट में when we talk about COVID-19 recession, there are people who were like earlier, they were occupied for 15 hours or 12 hours in a day. They are finding their occupancy level being reduced to 50% or 60%. That sense of belonging, that I'm needed to do a particular service, even if it is work from home scenario, that kind of belongingness and need is going away. As a result of which, it's very important that emotional stability and the wellness we talked about. And rather than looking outward to getting an appreciation and getting that feeling of needed, it's very important that our millennials and the younger generation more should start looking inwards. And how do we start looking inwards? When we don't find peace outside or happiness outside, you need to find it inwards. And how do we do it? Is obviously by looking at our own small little world, which is in and around us and inside us, to give us that strand of hope on to hold on to, and get onto the emotional quotient for us to perform better physically, professionally, as well as economically. So here I would like to address these needs of the current time, where we tend to look after our physical needs. We are eating a proper diet, and we are happy in the current scenario where the travel time has reduced. So you've got more time at your disposal. How do you utilize that time to connect with yourself and go back to the roots? I still remember one of your webinars. Currently, we are on 593 webinars. I think that was in the first 100 webinars, Dr. Sharma, where you had, the theme was go back to the basic, go back to your roots. So this is where I would say to our millennials and to the younger generation, when you've been given this opportunity of having more time at your disposal in the current scenario, when the schools are not happening, the colleges are online, your work-life balance also has got a little topsy-turvy, with you spending more time at home and having a little more time at your exposure. Connect with your basics, go back to your roots, see where your parents and your grandparents came and the reasons that they were able to get that satiety value into their own environment and bring happiness not only to themselves but to everyone in and around them. So it's very important. I would request all of them to start practicing inward happiness. And how do we do the inward happiness? Is by making sure that whatever we strive to achieve, we achieve it in the completion process of it. We do not do things in bits and pieces. Even if you're spending time on doing a meditation exercise, please go through it completely. If a meditation process needs 20 minutes, it requires those 20 minutes. Millennials, I've seen, are always in a rush. They want to achieve everything very quickly and very fast. Whereas in today's time, that's not where we will be ending with. We need to spend that kind of quality time on ourselves, on our health, on our emotional health. And it's very, very important that we even eat right. Whatever is being served in today's time, the food plate that we are getting on our table should be organic, should be free from pesticides. Otherwise, if I have to refer to some statistics, according to US Department of Education and 2018 report of Cancer Research UK, millennials in UK have the highest rate of obesity and diabetes. And both of this, obesity and diabetes, are environmentally acquired disorders or malfunctions of the body. Yes, genetically we might be prone to these, but it's more to do with our way we are living our life, the way we are handling our day-to-day activities, the sedentary lifestyle that we've got into. This is one of the lead cause of obesity and diabetes. And these are the figures of 2018 report, which I'm quoting of UK, but the same is the state of India. India is becoming an adolescent obesity capital. India has already become a diabetes capital. And for this, I would completely like to blame our lack of enthusiasm in going back to nature, in eating food which is provided by nature in its raw form, the fruits, the vegetables, the colors that we need to bring on our table from the farm is missing. We've been into a kind of I would say, a vicious circle where getting a processed food is most easy on our table than bringing a meal that is cooked with love, with a lot of passion, and with good ingredients. So it's not just that you need to spend time on it, you need to pick up your ingredients well. And let me tell each one of you, it's not very expensive to get good ingredients. The good ingredients are even today available with your local sabzi wala, with your local grocery store. And you should pick up the seasonal products. Do not go in for the processed and high labeled products. Like Greek yogurt is the thing. It's very good to have Greek yogurt, but the quality and the nutrient values that you get from a normal yogurt, जिसको हम दही बोलते हैं, जिसको हम लोग घर में जमाया करते थे रात को सोने से पहले. I still remember our mothers and our dadis, वो दूध में जामुन लगा के उसको, and winter since it's cold up north, उसको शॉल में या कंबल में लपेट के रख दिया जाता था. And in the morning it used to be called a set curd. The quantity, the probiotics that we get from it, if you put dried raisins in it, it becomes a prebiotic and probiotic. Those are the similar things you've started getting in a processed form, in a packed form. And it's become very easy for us to go to a grocery store for shopping and pick up what is lying on the shelf rather than consuming what is natural. So that is what is taking the love and the passion away from the way it was being made. It was cooked. I still remember summers and winters में वो मिट्टी के कसौरों में दही जमा करता था, and used to have it from there. It not only leads to the nutrient value, it even adds on to the nutrients. To give you an example, हमारे यहाँ पे लोहे की कढ़ाइयाँ use होती थी. We used to have a cast iron, what is called. Kadhai is made of cast iron. Tawa is made of cast iron. Even the karchi is made of cast iron. Reason being, they add micronutrients to our food. It's iron which gets released while a slow cooking process is being followed. But what we've started doing is we've started picking up dals which are packed in a packet and sealed, open it up, microwave it, and we are happy to have that meal. Yes, it tastes good. But what about the nutrient? What about what your body needs? Our body is so complex, and hats off to that Upar wala who's made us engineering. But we are an engineering marvel. You touch one part of the body and everything starts falling apart. And you put one piece in its right place and everything starts falling in place. You have any issue, for example, if I can see Dr. Sharma को थोड़ा खांसी जुकाम हुआ है. So हमारी दादी नानी के जमाने में क्या होता था, ऐसा होने पे they used to do ginger juice with a little honey in it. आज की डेट में what we do is we reach out to a cough syrup bottle. Yes, it is ease of convenience, but the herbal value and the nutrients that you get from a good honey, which is processed by the bees, and the ginger juice. Up to in fact COVID के time पे ginger juice पे इतनी study हो गई है, ginger and garlic पे, that they've become a potent, I would say, the nutrients, and people are packaging it. In fact, जो हल्दी वाला दूध हमारे यहाँ पे रात को पिया जाता था, again during our parents and our grandparents' time, it's become a turmeric latte now. So it's available in the market as a latte. So we need to go back to the basic for millennials to maintain their wellness. Spend time not just in practicing wellness through yoga or through fitness, but practice even what you eat, what you take inside. The food we eat or the water we drink is what we are outside, because our body needs nutrients. It's not that we only need proteins, a certain percentage of protein or a certain grammage of micronutrients like calcium, magnesium. It's very easy to pop the tablets, but the nutrient value that you get from a good home cooked meal or a raw fruit or a raw vegetable is absolutely uncomparable to any kind of concoction of protein supplements you may get, or a protein powder you may pick up from your gym person. In fact, again, if I have to refer to the earlier days, दारा सिंह जैसे पहलवान जो पंजाब से ही थे, डॉक्टर शर्मा, वो कभी भी प्रोटीन सप्लीमेंट्स और इन चीजों को कभी भी एंडोर्स नहीं किया करते थे. रीजन फॉर दैट बीइंग, he said that दूध दही खा के ही he's made up his he's built up all his muscles, and that's the way it is, because the protein what you need is available if you are not lactose intolerant. It's available in milk, it's available in good kind of protein like lentils if you are a vegetarian, and if you are a non-vegetarian, egg is a complete food in itself. So let's start reaching out and teaching our younger generation also that the importance that you get from food. फूड, वो कहते हैं ना, खाना अगर पेट भरा हो तो सब कुछ अच्छा लगता है, पेट खाली हो तो you may have the best of everything, you will not like it because you are not, that satiety value is not being reached. Having good food, having proper meals is the key to happiness. If you have to start putting the small building blocks, agar main, if I take happiness as a building and I have to put the building blocks, the foundation of that comes from what we eat. If we eat right and if we eat good, at least the foundation for being happy and being peaceful starts. Then the second foundation you need to lay is emotional quotient. You need to be empathizing with everyone you come across. You need to have that high level of IQ. Yes, is very important. And in fact, millennial generation and the generation before that and the generation after that also now has a higher IQ level, because we've been exposed to a lot of knowledge. Google is at our fingertips. We need any information. Everyone is like a jack of all trades thanks to Google. But having said that, IQ के साथ साथ emotional quotient होना बहुत जरूरी है. Only having intelligence and not having emotional connect with people again does not work in having a healthy relationship and a healthy growth of a self. Yes, you may have difficulty in then connecting with others, but सबसे पहले difficulty तो self connection में आती है, and you need to be away from your gadgets. Another thing I would request the millennials is that at least keep your meal time gadget free. Do not use your gadgets, because sometimes you're watching something or you're on a social media and some kind of comment may try to negatively impact you, and which may even have an impact on the digestion of the food that you are eating. It's very important to eat good and be in an environment right when you're eating that food for your own happiness and your wellness and for proper eating. Again, when I'm talking about being a nutritionist, I'll talk a lot on food. When you're talking about food, it's very important that we pick up the superfoods, which are now becoming superfoods, but earlier were used by our, again, grandparents. I'm being referring again and again because I still remember my dadi and my nani, they used to make sure कि winters में गुड़ जरूर खाना है. खाने के बाद, now what we do is we take a processed gachak. उसमें peanuts and good easy form में मिल जाता है, but having that raw good, and good again gets into different kind of goods. You get palm good, that's the good that is made out of the palm plant. You get from sugar cane. So it's different varieties of good you get, and it's very good for digestion. So which is a natural form. The moment you convert it into a gachak or you form any other form of a til gachak or a peanut gachak, it's again a process. You are melting it, you are taking care away some of the nutrients, and then you're adding nutrients. वो fortified जिसको हम कहते हैं, नमक मिल रहा है but वो fortified है. Milk powder मिल रहा है but it's a fortified with calcium. So why get into fortified? Why first get into the processing of a raw food ingredient? Seeds जिनको हम बात करते हैं, जैसे pumpkin seeds हो गई, खरबूजे के बीज हो गए, sunflower seeds हो गई. These seeds used to be earlier, हमारे यहाँ पे I still remember गर्मियों के दिनों में खरबूजे के बीज, pumpkin seed, इन सबसे शरबत बना करता था, खस से शरबत बना करता था. These all ingredients have micronutrients. We've stopped using that. Let's please get back onto it. And very important, I would like to request everyone is to get onto a habit of snacking with nuts. Nuts, whether you take almonds, you take walnuts, you take raisins, you take cashew nuts, Groundnuts, in fact, they are protein, they are powerhouses of protein, and not just proteins, they have again micronutrients. Nuts like prunes, aapki figs, they are excellent sources of fiber, soluble fiber that you get, and they take care of, even they all have low glycemic index. इससे आपकी डायबिटीज होने के चांसेस भी बहुत कम हो जाते हैं. And in case of somebody is diabetic, these all these food items are very good for a diabetic individual also, and they help in weight loss. Nuts, yes, are rich in calories, but they still make you lose weight. The reason being because their consumption leads to proper digestion of the food, and they lead to increasing your assimilation of the raw ingredients of the nutrients that you eat. स्मॉल थिंग, हम प्रोटीन खाते हैं, सब लोग बहुत अच्छा लगता है प्रोटीन खाना, और हम कहते हैं हीमोग्लोबिन जो एनेमिक होते हैं उनके लिए we talk about that have more iron rich food. But how many of us we know that only taking iron is not good enough? We need to have vitamin C. आप जब भी दाल खाएं, प्रोटीन रिच डिश खाएं या आयरन रिच डिश खाएं, इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू हैव अ विटामिन सी, उसके साथ नींबू डाल के या नींबू का पानी पी के, बिकॉज आपकी बॉडी में आयरन नीड्स टू बी कन्वर्टेड इनटू आयरन, Fe2 needs to be converted into Fe3 to be assimilated and used by the body. And earlier, if you see, जब दाल बनती थी या सांबर for that matter, which is a native dish of South India, सांबर में इमली डाला जाता है. क्यों डाला जाता है? So that आयरन, जो दाल से प्रोटीन और आयरन मिले, वो आपकी बॉडी एब्जॉर्ब कर सके. अगर आप प्रोटीन सिर्फ या आयरन का कोई भी आइटम विदाउट विटामिन सी खाएंगे, बॉडी उसको एब्जॉर्ब नहीं कर पाती है. आपने खाया, आपने अपनी कैलोरीज और उस कंटेंट में पूरा खा लिया ग्रामेज में, बट बॉडी ने उसका बेनिफिट नहीं लिया. So these are very, very small things. But once you start eating home cooked food, you will see the benefits of the combination that we used to have. The khichdi that we have is an excellent food. And in fact, for that matter, the Western world has also picked up our khichdi. And they call it a lentil and a rice dish, which has lentil, which has a very good proportion of a lentil and rice. And on top of it, there's घर का देसी घी बना हुआ है जिसका तड़का लगता है, which helps in good digestion of both your carbohydrates as well as protein. So if we go back to basics on eating, we will lay a good foundation on the wellness. You need to then top it up with your emotional quotient. And how to get the emotional quotient right is by practicing yoga. It's very, very important. Yoga is not only a physical activity. Yes, it helps you physically. It helps stretching. It helps giving flexibility to your body muscles, to your bones. It strengthens the bone. But it has a big role which it plays on getting your mental equilibrium, stabilizing it, getting you in a state of peace where you're mentally even counting the breaths you take. Otherwise, how many times do we even sit down and think of the breathing in and the breathing out process? It's involuntarily, वो चलता रहता है, हम सांस लेते हैं और सांस छोड़ते हैं. But it's only during when you're doing spiritual exercises or you're doing yoga and you're concentrating on your breathing in is when you will take the fresh air in, and breathing out when you are excreting the carbon dioxide outside your body. So these are the times your brain gets at peace. It's a physical process, but has an emotional connect. It makes your brain go down and come to a level where the activity of the brain, our brain is hyperactive. In fact, the more you use it, the better it gets. In fact, जब हम रात को भी सो रहे होते हैं, subconsciously, it's working. So your brain also needs rest. So when you start concentrating on the breaths you take and the breaths that you take out, you will think of each and everything that's involved in the breathing process, how the air is circulating inside your body. So with this, your brain will also get that kind of energizing, refreshing feel. So it's very important at least to spend, if not more time. I know I'm myself not a big example of yoga, but I would still say at least spend 20 minutes in a day on yourself, wherein you only concentrate and spend time with your own self without any interference, without any disturbance, and for each one, there's no, yoga does not say that it has to be done early in the morning. Yes, if you do it early in the morning, the benefits are huge, but you can do it in the afternoon, you can do it in the evening. The only thing is you need to make sure that there's enough gap between your meal and doing a yoga exercise. You can't do it immediately before or after your meal. Third thing which comes is physical wellness. It's very important. Now we've talked about food, what we need to eat. We've talked about emotional well-being. Physically also, you need to make sure that you exercise the way you are exercising your brain. You exercise each and every body muscle. So if you can get into walking or jogging, I would say they are the cheapest form of exercising. But yes, if going to a gym or being in a group and doing a gym or a kind of a Pilates or a Zumba class gives you that kick, it's very important. When we exercise, our body releases hormones which are happy hormones. That gives us the happiness quotient. So you must have seen, even after doing a gym, when your every muscle in your body is aching, we have a sense of achievement. And उस दिन रात को नींद बड़ी अच्छी आती है. Yes, when you toss and turn, calf muscle दुखती है, hip muscle दुखती है, but then that, वो कहते हैं ना, उस पेन में भी वो मीठी दर्द है, उस दर्द में भी मजा आता है. क्यों? क्योंकि you really work towards it. And it's not only working towards getting a good body. A fit body will house your own emotions in a very positive fashion. आपको confidence मिलता है. And nobody is gonna live with you forever the way your body is gonna live with you. So you need to invest that kind of time, energy, and effort on your own self by investing time in your body. If tomorrow you are unwell or you are bedridden, you may have friends who will come and see you. You may have your family members who will be bothered more than you because they have to look after you. But you become yourself a burden for yourself. Forget about family members. You feel agitated. For anyone who's been physically active, if they are being in case like I've undergone that, I fractured my leg once, and being in that cast gives you that kind of a repulsive feeling that I want to break this and go run around. So in order to make sure that we do not fall, specifically for women, because our calcium absorption is little lower than the male counterparts, and specifically for age 40 plus years, when our bones are more prone to cracking, and our calcium level आज की डेट में iodine level, मतलब हमारे soil में iodine बचा नहीं है, the food we eat is iodine deficient, and calcium absorption is any which ways less. It's very important, if we build the body mass, the muscle mass, the bone mass, calcium absorption hoti hai. Again, if any one of us is on calcium supplement, make sure that your doctor is even recommending a magnesium supplement to you. So physical activity is very important. It's like your body is your temple. The way it's been said, even Swami Vivekananda had said that your body is your temple. The way we go to a temple and we pray in front of the Lord, similarly, you need to pray. Your body is the temple for your soul. So in order to make sure that your soul is happy and your soul is peaceful, invest and pray for your body. So we've covered three different kind of wellness. We've covered the food wellness, the nutritional wellness. We've covered the emotional and the physical. Now, spiritual wellness is, again, which is very, very close to Dr. Sharma's heart, and so is to mine, because we are seeing a lot of disturbance happening. People getting into that, I would say, the swings of being in depression or not being happy in their environment, or in the scenario that COVID-19 recession has put us all in. So it's very important that you have a spiritual connect. It could be your guru, it could be your soulmate, it could be a friend of yours, it could even be your own children, with whom you can connect not only at an emotional level, but at a spiritual level also. Sometimes that's the reason it's said कि गुरु अगर मिल जाता है तो वो शिष्य को उस रास्ते पे चलना सिखा देता है जिसमें वो खुद चल के अपनी खुशी ढूंढ सके. If you find a guru, excellent. If you do not, even a good soulmate, a classmate, a team member, I would say, even if it is your professional colleague with whom you can relate. It's very important to relate at an emotional well-being space and at a spiritual space. Because by the end of it all, what are we? We all are souls in journey. We will move from this life to a next life, and we will need to learn some lessons before we move on. So spiritual learning help us get the lessons, and the lesson of forgivingness, forgiving others, and offering forgiveness to whosoever has wronged you, I think is the biggest lesson I've learned in my life. If you need to move forward and if you need to be at peace with your own self, forgive everyone who's wronged you and move forward, because until and unless you forgive them, that angst, that anger in you will keep bringing you face to face with them again and again and again. And it's nothing beyond, anger is a slow poison which you are consuming, thinking that the person with whom you are angry will die. No, it doesn't happen. This poison only kills you, and kills you inside very slowly. It's not that you will be killed like you will die. No, it'll kill a certain part of you. It'll kill that emotion. So please have that spiritual awakening. I'm not saying सबको छोड़ छाड़ के संन्यास ले लो, बिल्कुल नहीं, होना भी नहीं चाहिए. Live in this world, but again have that spiritual connect. And most importantly, the last wellness point I would like to talk about is the financial wellness. बाकी सब ठीक है, everything, good food, yoga, going to a gym, spiritual wellness, sab tab tak hai when you know that there's a next meal coming on your table. So it's very, very important to have a financial stability. And there is where education and vocational education plays a big role. And I would like to request all the viewers here, for them, for their children, for everyone and anyone who's in and around them, it's very important that in today's time and period, we give the younger generation not just the plain education, but make education relevant to vocation. In fact, as per the US Department of Education, the latest study that has happened in 2020, during the time when the COVID was there, they've taken out that the technical or vocational trainings are more likely to give employment to the student as compared to those having bachelor's degree. And we are seeing that in our own country. This was the study. Currently, India has not done such study during COVID's time. But in spite of no study being there, we know that even sitting in 2021 in India, where we have the millennial population is the huge population that we have, and that's our demographic dividend. Until and unless we give those skills to our younger generation, where they will not be dependent on somebody else to give them a job, but they become a job giver themselves, is the best thing. And in fact, in day before yesterday, when our Honorable Prime Minister was addressing the nation, I was very pleased to hear that the concept he started of Startup India has turned into a big kind of, it's catching the eyeballs across the world. And the kind of startups we've had in the last 5 years is phenomenal. We've crossed China, we've crossed Japan, we've crossed all the other nations. So small entrepreneurs looking after their own kind of a profile and giving jobs to others is the gig economy. So we are not looking at startups of 100 crores or 200 crores. Yes, those startups are also needed, because the more we will get those kind of startups, the more jobs will be created. But a small startup also of a student passing out a vocational course or of their educational qualification, starting a small startup with 2 lakh of rupees, hiring 2 or 3 of his own batchmates is what we have to look at. So in fact, when our Honorable Prime Minister talk about the billionaire chai wala, that's entrepreneurship, that's the startup, or the pakode wala. So those are the startups that we talk of, and we need to make sure everything else will fall in place as long as you know where your second meal is coming from. And you do not have to worry about what will happen if I do not get new business for next 1 month or next 3 months. That kind of comfort level, and as per your bank balance or as per your financial statement, if you have, you can peacefully invest in the other forms of wellness. So very, very important that we start educating our students, start educating our younger generation in the right fashion, that they pick up their passion. They are not supposed to only work and start a clerical job or maybe get into an officer position just to earn a certain bucks, but marry their profession with their aspiration or their passion. So the moment the passion and the profession are married together, that's a marriage for, like, which is for takes. It will live forever. So with those words, I would like to go back to Dr. Sharma and say that's my small piece of advice to all our millennials.
Thank you,
So over
ma'am.
to
Thank
you.
you. Thank you very much. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, Madam Monica Bahl, the CEO for the Beauty and Wellness Sector Skill Council under the aegis of Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Government of India. Now, there are a couple of questions for next time, which for subsequently somebody else, those are coming, they can take on. People have asked me a couple of things, like number one, those are interested to open their own training centers. What are the excuse me, what are the prerequisites and how to go by? And particularly people are interested from northeast part of India, because now post COVID wellness is a very important sector skill council. So one of these days, if you can have one person who can come and who can show the presentation sort of a thing, that these are the steps. If you have to open your own training center, then what are the steps, how you have to follow, what you have to take on. That's one part. Secondly, whatever courses are being offered by Wellness Sector Skill Council, if they could be listed somewhere separately, that is second part. Thirdly, with regard to wellness, which are the most important 10 apps available globally? That also one of these days, because children are taco savvy. So somebody just posted it from the YWCA for me. I said I'll request her and we will take on. These are for subsequent programs. We can take it on. We can work it out. And your different training providers which you have got in north, south, east, west, central. So by the time we move with this program, we would make a request to you that we should bring a bonanza from the entire country, from the different places, and let's make everybody well equipped and empowered, because wellness is the most important thing. And that's what I keep telling everybody, that people more than health sector, if you see the revenue model and if you see the future, nobody wants to undergo a knife, nobody wants to undergo a surgery. And like madam was talking about yoga, she was talking about meditation, nutrition, organic, whatever she was telling us, I think it's very, very important. Wellness is going to be the buzzword. Wellness is going to be the future. And we would like to learn a lot from the Wellness Sector Skill Council, the best part. And as the things will move, as the things will progress, the other day I got request from Mr. Abhijit Singha. Mr. Abhijit Singha is the director who prepares basically children from the Northeast to go for Miss India and Miss World. So we can have some beauty and wellness package program and some equipping for them also in future. We can work it out. So thank you very much, ma'am. Thanks for
Thank you,
coming
sir.
this evening. It was a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to have you with us. Yeah,
Sir,
please.
just before we end, I would just to address the first two questions. If our viewers can visit www.bwssc.in, concept job roles and how to become a training partner. Yes, we will do as per your convenience. We'll do a complete one webinar with the slideshow. But currently, if they want to just have a glimpse of it, they can visit our website. They will get that. And the rest we will take it forward. And yes, as you mentioned, Mr. Singla, we would love to be on board with them to take it up, take our students from Northeast to the next level. So thank you so much.
Skill Council.